Now, this week and next week will be quarterly season, not for every company, but the large majority of them. They'll be reporting the third quarter profits, which ends in September this year, right? Usually, for those who don't know, it takes about 2 months to produce quarterly. So here we are. Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out Fire Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description in November. Getting the quarterlies, but some have already been reported. So roughly about 65 quarterlies. We say roughly because at any one point in time they can just announce as we speak. But you know, when we last recorded, 65 quarterlies have been reported. Almost half, around 45% reported losses. The other half, of course, positive growth. Almost half paid dividends, or announced dividends rather, and 6% announced special dividends.
Yeah.
So let's start with the first one, gloves.
Yes. So this one, I think everybody is eager to know what is their updates or latest prospect, right? So you can see that there's two companies that announced. One is Kosan, the other one is Harta Lega. Harta Lega is still struggling a little bit because of high costs that they are incurring. Partly also is because of the forex exchange. In the past, there was a point where the ringgit actually strengthened to 4 ringgit and 10 cents, right?
Yep.
Against USD. So that didn't really help that much. And you can see that on the other hand, Kosan actually didn't really got impacted a lot. Probably also is because their business are more diversified. They have like their medical glove room, they have their TRP and all those kind of like different business segment. And they are the most resilient one in terms of their growth. And so far, the market also has been liking about Kosan's delivery. So you can see that the share price actually rallied over the past few quarters, right? It's about up 34%. But for Harta Lega, it is still struggling, about down 90%. So so far I think both companies reported kind of like a mixed results. Top Glove I didn't include here. They actually reported last month. Top Glove I believe they were in the loss making. Yeah, so yeah, it's very, very mixed. Only Kosan is the one that is delivering. But so far I think the future prospects for Glove is going to be quite exciting also, like because of the supply is normalizing already, and then demand also is starting to like come back up. So hopefully their profits will be back to normal in the next few quarters.
Palm oil.
Yes, so this is palm oil.
So the two standout is United Plantation. I think the big one is United Plantation, and then Johor Plantations as well.
Yes, so you notice that both of their quarterlies are actually improving quarter on quarter. So you can see that right now Johor Plantation is making almost 2 times as compared to the previous quarter. United Plantation is up like probably around 30 to 40%. And recently, there's a lot of foreigners are actually entering into these plantation companies. For obvious reason, the CPO prices is at its all-time high. Not all-time high, but it's at quite a very high price already, around 5,000 ringgit per ton. And yeah, they have been taking positions already. And you notice the share price rally as well. So you can see that year to date, Johor Plant is up 47%. United Plant, this one is most loved one, they are up about 73%. And even though even when we record the latest fund flow, right, we can still see that foreigners are still actively buying for Johor Plantation and also United Plant. But for the last week's one, they stopped buying for United Plantation, probably because they got a lot of positions there already. Okay, the third one would be technology.
Yep, semiconductors.
So, semiconductor. You can see that right now they are still not really performing as what the market expected them to do. Even some of the local institutions also thought that it is at the bottom, so probably it's going to be rebounding. But then they still are struggling. You can see that Adeltech and also Pentamaster both are reporting dropping in quarterlies, and that also reflected the share price also because so far profits are still not being met as compared to the previous high in 2021, 2022. They are still struggling, also because of, I would say, they are not really in a value chain where the semiconductors see them very highly. They are more of a back end, like your packaging or testing kind of like services. And they are catering towards the consumer devices and automotive, those kind of like market, instead of the industrial, for example.
We are seeing a continuous decline, basically, in this third quarter, and I think Q4 will be very similar. This is based on my conversations with people, private and public companies in the space. And I think if there is a recovery, it will be closer to Q2 next year. Q1 small chance, but usually probably Q2.
Yeah, so far it's still quite a very gloomy outlook
Yeah.
for tech.
Next, oil and gas.
Yeah,
okay.
this one is specifically because there's only like one company that announced their earnings, which
So
is
far.
the offshore accommodation services. So key field, you see their profits are like very, very good. It's on a linear growth rate.
Impressive.
Yeah, and you also can tell why IPO price, I think they public about like 90 cents a share. Right now it's at 2 ringgit. So it kind of justify why it went up so high, like more than 2 times, right? Is because of their earnings are just doing very good. But whether these earnings will be at a peak or not, I think this one is also another question because there's a lot of other oil and gas players are coming into their field, which is the offshore accommodation services. So probably that will impact how they actually bid for their next future contracts. Probably margins will be compressed, but we shall see whether they can still maintain this high margin or not. I personally think that it's going to be quite tougher with more companies are coming into this space. Okay, the last one we have here, it is convenience store. You can see it's the food or maybe in the gadget space. So 2 companies that announced, which is Mr. DIY and
This is a big dump, yeah.
99 Speed Mart. Both companies are also reporting like a very muted kind of like growth. You can see that their earnings dropped for Mr. DIY about like 10, 20%, 10-20%. Also for 99 Speed Mart, also down about 20%. And there was quite a steep dump for Mr. DIY. It's because of local institutions are actually exiting and nobody's buying from this dump. That's why there's like a 13% loss. So this one, the Mr. DIY, we're not sure about what's their outlook. Other than we just know that their growth is still pretty much dependent on how many stores they can open up. And you need to figure out what is their saturation point. At the moment, I think most likely they're going to be quite saturated already. So the growth will most likely be coming from the overseas market, your Indonesia, your Philippines, or Thailand, or whatever market that they're expanding overseas. Whereas for 99 Speed Mart, also very limited this one because they just listed only. And they are still on their expansion plan. That's why you don't see a very quick recovery in terms of profit because they are still operating as the same amount now. But they plan to open more stores in the future. So we shall see how they will deliver in the next few quarters. Okay, so some of the predictions that we have, of course, those are just some of the very few companies that just announced. But our
It's still
predictions-
a decent sample size, you can say.
Exactly.
Because what affects them will affect the ones that are about to come. So
Yeah, exactly. So number one, technology, a lot is going to be reporting bad outlook. Few only will be good. The few that is good is probably going to be the front end value semiconductor value chain. So you can see front end already, they all announced quite good. KGB also quite good. SMRT also not bad. But a lot of it that is going to be coming from the back end testing guys. So like your OSAT player, your outsourced semiconductor assembly and testing player, ATE player also, EMS player, all these kind of like those companies that are in that particular value chain will be reporting, we think will be reporting bad numbers.
too busy to find stock ideas? Check out Fire Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description.
Property, I think it will be muted because the growth already has been like priced in already. Yeah, a lot of them actually reported good earnings in the past already. And I mean, we are always forward looking, so we want to know what is the next best catalyst. So far, the next best catalyst is probably just the Johor SZE, that one only. That's about it. Construction also similar.
Yeah,
muted.
I mean, they're linked, right?
Yeah, link also. I mean, we already know that they are going to be spending money on some like the ECRL or your Penang LRT or your Sarawak. All those already is already priced in already. Next up, plantation. I think this one will be good because
I mean, CPO prices are going up.
Yeah, CPO prices are going up.
And I think the key thing is that it has been ignored for a long time until recently. There was one bank, right, that gave a
yeah. Actually, now there's three.
Now it's three. Okay,
Yeah,
increased
three
already.
banks.
So
Yeah.
3 banks that gave a positive rating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
For the industry as a whole, not just specific companies,
correct.
right?
So they used to be neutral. Almost every single, actually all institutions are very neutral about this sector. Then they start to turn positive after CPO prices start to rally. So we think that the next few quarters will be quite good for plantation. Last one, oil and gas. This one will be bad. Dependent on how Trump is going to like increase the production for oil and also the non-OPEC countries, because they already plan that they want to raise production. And in the news also, if you read right, it is projected that there will be an oversupply in terms of oil, by around, I think, around 1.8 million barrel per day. So yeah, I think Brent oil prices will be contracting further. Whether it will go down, how badly it will go down, this one we don't know, but definitely it will go down. Okay, so some interesting insights that we found is that a few companies started to that actually don't announce special dividend start to announce special dividend. So there's this steel company, LYSAGHT, MSC, and also Corsan. So these three company, they announced a very special dividend, and you look at the yield during the announcement date, is very attractive: 13%, 7.5%, and 2.6%. This one Corsan because they are just recovering only. So most likely our predictions is because of the dividend tax rate that was announced in budget 2025, most likely you will see more companies announcing special dividends. Yeah, and they are doing this to actually not pay that 2% dividend rate. So yeah, this is just a future outlook. We think that plastic packaging and travel, plastic packaging and travel is because of the oil prices. So the last few years, oil prices has been hovering around like 70 to 80.
And of course, by
USD.
travel, we mean mainly
airlines. Yeah, correct. So it's only that one company that is doing the traveling. I guess you guys know already. But anyway, so this one have to do with oil prices, because last few years, oil prices has been at an elevated price point. And if let's say they do contract, I think these few sectors will be benefiting quite a lot in terms of lower raw material prices. So I think you can maybe start doing your search on what company that you think is interesting in that particular sectors. Number two is there'll be more dividend payout. If you watch our previous video on the our honest opinion on budget 2025, you see that a lot of measures are doing the tax the rich kind of like program. And one of the main thing is actually the dividend tax rate. So the 2% dividend tax rate actually encourage more company to pay out dividend before 2025. So that's why you see like recently there's a few companies that actually announced special dividend. So we kind of expect more of them will be announcing these special dividends soon also. Number three, probably you need to prepare for the worst, because there's only a handful of sectors that will be announcing good outlook, whereas the rest will be kind of like impacted. So most likely when numbers don't show or justify their valuation, probably there will be a correction. So when there is a correction, I mean, we already see like some of the oil and gas company like your PChem. PChem right now at the price point is at it's
40% from all-time high. 40,
yeah. It's at the same level as the COVID time.
Yeah.
The COVID crash. So yeah, a lot of, not only them, there's also quite a number of companies, even data center companies also start to crash already. So yeah, you may want to be prepared for some sort of correction in terms of in the Bursa, and most of the sectors will be correcting as well. So yeah, just want to let you guys know that the worst is here to come. So yeah, that's about it for today's video. And this is the FirePro's performance.
What is, of course, October hasn't ended yet, but
Yeah.
let's say if it end today, what is the returns going to
Probably
be?
around 44 to 45%.
Okay,
Yeah,
up a little
but
bit.
the boring portfolio is up 11%.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's up a lot.
So yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, we have a program where we share with you guys our portfolios, right? 3, FPM, which is Malaysia-based, FPG, which is global, right? US, Chinese companies, things like that. And then TB, which is the boring portfolio. This one is for people who want a more boring portfolio, right? Dividend-based, not much activity, maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 trades a year, you know. So, and you know, we also give you the write-ups for these companies, whether or not, what do we think of the company, you know, whether we own it or not, why we own it, things like that, you know, usually about 2 per month minimum. Help you shortcut your research. And if you want to know what these write-ups look like, you can check out our free sample, downloadable in the comment section and description. And guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.